Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Podium podcast. Um, this is going to be a second part of our interview with Chris. This is going to, a little longer than we thought it would, so we had to split it into two parts. So let's get right into it.
Yeah. Yeah, so this part will be more of just debate. Not I shouldn't say debate style questions, but more back and forth discussions rather than just asking you questions and us kind of listening. But
Yes.
so I think this first one is very fitting for us as a
Ooh.
group.
Yeah.
Also, I guess me, Noah, and Asante all have these questions, and Chris, you do not. So it'll give us an advantage in some of these. But I think I think this one's very fitting just for our group. Um, how important is having a coach in powerlifting, and how much does it really matter?
I believe, first of all, how can I say I want to make? I think the argument is undeniable because the results speak for themselves, right? Like, you have more highly successful lifters with having an experienced set of eyes, from a wise standpoint and experience standpoint, knows that individual better than any person else on the planet as it pertains to lifting at a high level in powerlifting.
Hmm.
Um, the number is exponential how many lifters are more successful with the coach than someone that is self-coached.
Yeah.
I mean,
I I would have. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Go ahead. No, my bad.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say, I don't like. I agree with you. That's probably objectively true. But do we have enough? Like, is there really enough people that are self-coached for you to give good information on that? Because like
Yes,
everyone has.
yes.
I don't. I honestly don't know anyone close to me that's self-coached. Like I know zero people.
So right now, you're self-coached. Audio Masakin is self-coached. Um, uh, Waku is self-coached.
Oop.
59
Quick.
kg.
Oh,
Uh,
59.
I could give you, if I really think hard, I could give you a couple more. But there are people that are on the world level that are world. I think you're working to get there. You're definitely national level. But um
Bornstein was self coached for a while, wasn't he?
he was, but he also has, well, the guy's a young 21, 22-year-old. I think his name's Luke.
I don't think he's
Okay.
ever really been self-coached. I think it's more just been almost like a collaboration almost. I think he's been with the same guy for ever almost.
Well, his coach is a very young individual. However, he's like literally going to school to be a brain surgeon.
He's not like a
Like
big coach. He just
like brain surgery is not easy in any way possible. It's almost like when someone says, "This isn't rocket science. This isn't brain surgery." Rocket science and brain surgery are very intricate, detailed, highly detailed like fields.
Hmm.
So to be doctors or engineers in those sense, it's not an easy thing. So his problems, I gotta imagine, gotta be really good with math. He's gotta be really good with common sense. He's gotta also have some sort of like ability to have foresight of things that are not seen. He's gotta have great troubleshooting, and it seems that, like, I mean, Bornstein has said it himself that he's learned from the guy that he works with. I think is Luke. His name's Luke. If it's not your name, I'm sorry, bro. I apologize. But he's an intelligent young man that's going to school for something that's really hard. And Bornstein himself has said that he learns from him. Like he's still learning to this day. And they are, they're doing things that are working very well for Bornstein. It's the combination of when you get a highly intelligent, effective person to navigate and guide your training with someone's body that's also very genetically capable on a high level as well. When you get high genetic capability and high intelligent and proper approach and navigation within training and you put it together, this is what you get.
Yeah, I would honestly have to agree with you, Coach. Um, I believe that like a strong lifter, like a person that's just genetically gifted, they're going to be strong regardless, coach or not. Um, but I think having like a good coach is what takes like a good lifter, to being a great lifter. So like I think just having a coach just makes it easier for you to unlock your potential. I mean, because like self coaching can work, like if you know what you're doing, but the reality is like 80 to 90% of people don't know what they're doing, so they need that guidance to unlock their potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I mean overall, I agree with you, but I also don't think it's as important as people think. I think I don't think a coach is going to do as much for most people as they think. Like a coach isn't going to take a 35-year-old lifter with a 400 kilo total and blow him up to like a 900 kilo total. Like I don't think a coach can't fix bad genetics. Like you still have a limit to what you can do. And I think a lot of people
Yeah,
are going to get closer to that limit even without coaching. I think a coach almost just takes you to that next level and like really express what you are capable of. But I think a lot more people could do it themselves.
yeah,
Noah?
I yeah, I guess the only my thing is that like I don't see enough people, like I don't see enough of the population of powerlifters without coaches for me to say, okay, it's objectively better to be with a coach. Because I know I could think of like honestly probably like 10 people right now and like just list them out that I think either go get a new coach, like what are they doing, or like just do something else.
So
It's like I'm being straight like it's just I don't see enough people not doing their own thing or doing something else.
yeah. There's isn't
Just
enough.
say,
There isn't a big enough sample size to really say.
yeah, it's not like I can't say it's objectively, but I think it's good to have someone monitoring your training at least. Like get another set of eyes, like ask people questions here and that. But like, and that's like a coach that's like giving you every little thing. I don't know.
I mean, honestly,
but, but
Noah,
uh,
you even ask questions about programming to me, and I'm sure a bunch of other people too. Like, it's not like you're only doing it yourself and just doing it yourself. So I guess self-coaching, what I mean by self-coaching isn't necessarily like you're doing everything yourself. It's just you're not paying a coach to do your programming for you. Like Noah is doing it himself. He's still asking others for help or uh like I don't even know, just to make sure he's on the right path, but
Yeah,
he's not paying for a coach to do everything for him.
so I'll explain it from this perspective. You're saying you guys are saying, and it's true, right? We don't have enough people that are self-coaching at the rate that people that have coaches
mhm.
are right in powerlifting, right? And I think there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because it's very far and few between people that navigate their training to a T. Like being talented in powerlifting, like being able to grasp the concepts of technical execution and maximizing your anatomical capabilities with technique, and then putting it all together and being really good at load selection and navigating your training, all that is not something that's common for an individual lifter. And I think that it's really hard to self coach because there's the human element of making, oh shoot, of making the correct decisions when you need to. And if you're doing it on your own, you better be really on top of your training. And I think that it's just not as easy to self coach. It's a lot harder. So if you're trying to be the best that you can be, it's it's more beneficial and it's easier to be your best. You are at a disadvantage. Most lifters will be, I promise you, especially with how neurotic, not saying this to insult anyone, it's just more so of like there are a lot of lifters that overthink and they do get skittish or they do get worried or they do get nervous about things or they do get pissed when things don't go the right way. So they don't have another um in a piece of input from another experience standpoint to give them the information to explain to them this is why this is happening. This is why we're here now. This is how we get from here to here and so on and so forth. And so like I asked Grant, right? Grant Iverson. Grant Iverson is very intelligent. He's just smart, okay? And I asked him a long time ago, like, why do you have my brother as a coach if you're so smart? And he said something around the lines of, hopefully I say this right. He was just like, there's the human element, and it's very reassuring to have an experienced, also intelligent coach like your brother that can guide my training and give me reasoning from a different input where like I might not be seeing something. Even as smart as I am, I might not be seeing something, but he also adds to, well, there's also these factors to consider. And also like it's only going to benefit you if you have a competent coach that's going to be able to like make sure at a higher percentage rate that you're doing everything you need to actually be your strongest and be your best. And I think that if it wasn't as important, there would be a lot more people self-coaching. I think one of the last thing I'll say here is I think this I'm so glad we're doing this podcast. I think this needs to be heard. Within the business of powerlifting, right? Too many people, like the economy is very bad right now. Objectively, the world economy is very bad right now. Our national economy is very bad right now. So right now, if you think about it, coaching is a luxury when it comes to just being a human being. Like if you just want to live, right? You don't need a powerlifting coach to live, right? Um, if you want to be the best powerlifter that you can be, working with a coach is more beneficial. It will be likely to be more an advantage to have a powerlifting coach than to do your own coaching and training, right? And I think because of that factor, they look at the pricing of coaching. They look at what coach charges 200 a month, 250 a month, 300 a month, right? You have a lot of young kids now that are like, "Hey, bro, I'll coach you for like $50." And they just have someone, at least they have something that's just navigating and looking over their training, but you're getting what you're paying for, right? Like they're navigating your training. You might be getting stronger now, but there's gonna get to a point to where like, yeah, I'm paying $50, but it's not worth what I need. So I might have to start paying more to get a higher value and to get a higher level of guidance and navigation within the training. I think that's something really important is that people try to get too much like they don't have a good sense of like bang for buck. You know what I'm saying? Like yes, you want to pay a reasonable price for coaching, but the thing is like how much is your powerlifting career worth? And you're going to have to invest without like if we take money out of it, you have to invest and get great sleep. You have to sacrifice. You have to eat almost all the time, right? You got to get a certain amount of calories in. You're always in the gym. You got to plan out your family time, your gym time, to this, right? So you're already investing that. But again, paying a particular premium price is what's going to more than likely not always guarantee, but highly and probably allow you to be the best you can be. And I think that's one of the big parts of this part is that lifters are like I want to pay this much in order to get a coach. Like my answer is you shouldn't pay this much if you're not going to be as dedicated to also match that price range to have a top level coach. If you're going to pay 150 or 200, but you know you're not going to dedicate, it doesn't matter how good that coach is. If you're not going to do what that coach asks you to do and fulfill every ask, you're not going to be great. You're not even going to be good. Um, and so all this to end and say that it all depends. And like right now, Noah, with you navigating your own training, I'm gonna say that it's more than likely your training is going really well because you're doing things that you weren't doing before in terms of like just general shit. Like for instance, hey man, I'm sleeping 8 to 9 hours a day. Like
Yeah.
like weren't doing that before. You're training. You're gonna be if your recovery is on a super high rate. You should be like I received a stimulus. I recovered from it the next day. I'm ready to take these loads again, and so on and so forth, and have consecutive recovered training. Well, that's why you're going to be stronger. Now, you may be doing something, or like like I said, this is not to like convince you of anything or whatever. This is more so just to say like I'm happy that you're getting good sleep. You're in a better situation now. Your life improved. It allows you to have consistency in training. But I promise you, you'll probably be even stronger and better if you had guidance. But you can still get success with what you're doing now. You can
I
still
think
get success.
I think something important to note, because I don't think we've actually said it on here, is the reason we wanted to ask this question is because me and Asante are both coached by Chris, and Noah used to be coached by Chris and isn't anymore, and now he's self-coached. So that's kind of
Yeah.
why we wanted to bring this question up and get into it. So what do you think, Noah? What do you think?
I mean, everything he said on it, I agree with. Yeah, like there's gonna if you have someone that has more experience giving you guidance instead of some random kid, yeah, it's gonna be better. But I also think like when I first started powerlifting, my first like year of 2021, I think it was 20, was it? Yeah, 2021. I would just like even before that in 2020, I was just watching a shit ton of Joey Flex videos. Like just there's he gives so much information out, and he like you can go back to videos 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Like there's just a shit ton of videos. So I'd watch a lot of videos, and it's not like I'd structure my training like randomly. I would do it to my best abilities, and it wasn't perfect by any means, but there's just so much information that you could get an idea of what you need to do, or if you have this problem, maybe this will work, or maybe this might not, right? And so I got a decent amount of success on my out of my first meet too, um, like more than I expected. And I think like now there's just so much out there that kids, I think young kids should start trying to look on their own and get some kind of base idea, but they need to understand they don't know everything yet. Like I know I don't know everything. Like
Yeah,
I'm always asking questions.
right. And one thing I want to say to that is again, like because I am a coach, I'm not going to sit here and say it's impossible, for the sake of our business. It's impossible for you to get better or stronger. You cannot be a successful athlete if you don't have a coach. I'm not going to say that. You can probably some people. I'm not going to say I cannot say everyone. Maybe some people. And if I were to give it a percentage range, like 20% would be insanely high. I would say something like maybe 3 to 4% of the powerlifting community, maybe 7% on a very high rate could be world level with their own training, like navigating their own training.
I'm gonna do
Um,
it.
if that's not now like if you're doing this because you're like, oh, I can just save myself money, right? Must be like I have will the only coach that I've ever had is still my coach today. I did self coaching for a while. Why did you get a coach? I navigated my training, but I also got really heavy. I got up to 315 pounds. I got stronger because my body had an excess of recovery through food, and my body weight and my mass was massive, right? Excuse me. Um, I got stronger that way, but I could never justify making my own block when every single day I have a block that I need to make for an athlete. So I figured I can afford it. I have a very experienced person I've worked with 2 years before. Why not have him navigate my training now? Delegate, like, yo, just literally program for me. Tell me what you need from me. My conversations with Will when I work with Will, it's literally send the video. Like, I don't need him to like give me all this feedback. I know what I need to do. I do this all day long. I do it for you guys. He might see something that I don't see, so technically he'll be like, hey, just make sure we clean this up because this could be like a red flag. And I'll be like, got it. And then the next session, boom, it's cleaned. And or like if leverages change or something, maybe programming wise, needs to be administered. He'll ask questions. I'll give him everything we need. I'll tell him some things like, what do you think about if we do this? We'll collaborate together and we'll do that. But for the most part, I'm not doing nothing with my training. He's programming for me. He's guiding it, and I like it that way because it allows me to be an athlete. It allows me to just go into the gym and just train and have fun and enjoy training. Like I enjoy that process. I like that I can still be an athlete. Um, if you are self-coaching because you want to be like you want to be able to say, I got to the world level on my own. If you're doing that for that reason, then respect, no worries, like no problem. But I think there's something that we don't talk a lot about in powerlifting, which is just as you are talented as an athlete, there are talented coaches out there. And the kid or the 25-year-old or the 23-year-old that has watched a bunch of YouTube and navigated some blocks and made some blocks, they are not as intelligently and powerlifting wise sound when it comes to playing with the dials of intensity, frequency, volume, foreseeing the future, pacing out training, looking at every single variable for the athlete. There are coaches out there that are freaking good at that. Really good. It's like their athletes at this point now, like every year are putting on something like somewhere between 25 to 50 keys on their total, and they've been powerlifting for like 8 years. And they're still getting. Look at the 83s. Look at the 83s. We thought the 83s were capped, and now because the mindset has adapted, we have like we can say 3 to 4 83s that are flirting with 900 kg total. Insane, and a lot of that is coming from optimized training. I
Okay,
think
but
Ade Omasakin is like he's an anomaly. He's an exception.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Don't have was that?
Well, that's what I was gonna say because didn't you just bring up earlier that he's self-coached?
Yeah.
He said he was self-coached. Yeah,
So
Hmm.
bringing up that like the 83s are
Yeah.
exploding because of this new coaching knowledge, doesn't that kind of just prove that if he's self-coached and he's one of the 83s that are kind of exploding?
he's also genetically gifted.
Don't
Period.
you
But in
think? Don't you think everyone at that
aren't
level
all
is though?
lifters at that level? Sorry.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, we said the same
everyone
thing.
Oh,
everyone is to a degree, not at like you have a pool of like genetic potential, right? And then out of that pool, you have this pool of like you have elite, and then you have like powerlifting gods. Like it's different over here. These guys are great. This is not the same than this. I'm saying like if you think about there's so many 83s. You got what's his name from New Zealand?
Tim
Tim.
Matagati.
Tim Madigatti. You got Angelo Fortino. You got Joe Bornstein, Delaney Wallace, Russell Orhe, Adio Masakin. There's so many. Who am I missing? Give me
Germs.
some. If Burns. Um,
quarantine?
yeah, I said
Various.
Bornstein.
Yeah.
Dude, you did-
Sean
what about
Noriega,
Chris Perez?
Chris
Chris
Perez.
Perez. Yeah.
Okay. What else? Who else?
Let me think. Let me think. Ina, you want to throw him in there?
Ina. Okay, Ina. Ina is different. Joe Bornstein is different. Um, there's a lot of 83s in there that like we're not always like that. And there's certain lifts that it doesn't matter how hard they work. It does not matter how hard Ina works on bench. He's my own team, right? I love Ina. Ina obviously knows that he has to improve his total through. He's got to improve his bench. But how likely is it that Ina is going to bench 210 for, say, Russ or who's another athlete that hasn't benched 210 in the lifter? You get what I'm saying? It's more likely that the other Okay, so here's something that adds to the coaching conversation. Actually, I want to bring about. And please don't think that I'm taking this from a biased standpoint. It's just objectively true. It's just objectively true. I'm sorry that people might punch the air and be mad if I say this. Russell Orr, he benched 187 and a half. He benched 187 and a half at Worlds.
Okay.
If he benches 210, a lot of people say there's no shot. He's not doing that. Blah, 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 blah. Bro, he's already hit 205.
I don't see it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of those
That's
people.
fine. That's
Me
totally
too.
fine. Totally fine. But we will never. People thought when your body weight is capped in the class,
Mhm.
bench is one of the first things to tell you that. Like, you got to go up. You got to
Mhm.
increase mass so you can bench more. You got more force output, right? Somehow, some way, Joe and Russ figured out how to go from 187 and a half to 205 at 190 body weight. That is incredible. That is 17 and a half keys. If he doesn't bench 210 and he just benches 205, that's
That's still crazy.
17 and a half key increase between Worlds and Sheffield. And everyone's saying you're capped. If he benches 210 and he puts on 22 and a half keys, one of the hardest lifts to improve when you're close to being capped, that I'm asking you, Noah, can you do that on your own? Can you get to that point when you've been in the 74s for 8 years? Your bench isn't moving. Are you going to be as talented as that, like these other coaches? Do you have the answers to be like, I'm going to fucking put arguably 17 and a half to 22 and a half? That's one of my greatest arguments. That is such an asset, a secret weapon.
Well, so I guess that
I just want to know, are you going to be able to do that on your own?
in
Because
8 years, I hope so.
that's
I
like
hope so.
next level
Yeah, it's
stuff.
kind of hard to say
Years,
right now, but
dude,
Yeah.
I'll be damn near unk age, bro.
You'll be 30, bro. You're
I'll
like
be 29.
How long have you been powerlifting for?
Since 2021, January 2021.
You've been powerlifting for 3 years?
About.
Okay. So in 5 more years, if you still stay in the 74s, and if you have a plateau on bench, I will be so impressed if you can replicate the same results of putting even 15 keys on your bench. Not in a year. Not in a year. If he benches 205, just 205 if he benches at Sheffield, that's a 17 and a half increase from world-class meat to another world-class meat.
So
That has
yeah.
I don't even know in that scenario if that's ever been done before. In a class for 8 years, you're plateaued, everyone's like, go to 93s, you're cooked, you're done, you're this. All the disrespect. Goes and says, oh, I'm cooked. Here's 17 and a half on your head top.
So
I got nothing but respect for that. And that is what I add huge to the case of why it really helps you so much more to have a coach, especially one that's damn good, very experienced, and is just talented with programming and knowing how to navigate stimulus and recovery.
wait, I guess that point. Okay, there's a couple things I have with that. So for me, I don't know if like before you look at okay, this person is the power output isn't there for bench. We need to go up in weight. Wouldn't you look to change the programming first? That's my first thing. And then B, I guess my question. This isn't a diss on Joey, but like, why didn't he do that earlier? Like, why didn't they like? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, why now?
There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. There wasn't 6 years. No one was close to Russ. That makes sense.
hmm
Imagine if you look. This is not a
Yeah.
disrespect to anyone. 6 years, no one was doing anything where I had to pick my stuff up and really put a flame under my butt.
What
Does that
about
make sense?
Sean
Right?
in 2018?
Bottom.
Well, wasn't it pretty close in 2018, Sean?
don't know.
That
Let's
was
look it up.
wasn't that in Washington, that Nats?
Someone look up the totals. How
Yep.
close it was.
Can you pull that up, Austin?
Pull up the
Yeah.
totals. Let's see how
No,
close they were.
I'm kidding.
yeah, I thought
Pull that up.
Sean
Pull that up, Jamie.
was always flirting with the Russ.
Thought what?
Sean's like, if we go back 4 to 6 years, or even maybe 3 to 6, Sean's always been flirting with the Russ total. Like, people have always been talking about it.
I
Relatively
think in
close.
In the
I
last
think
2 to 3 years, he hasn't even been in the conversation. That's fine, but I'm talking like even back, like Russ had something, like
I
someone.
mean we need to I need to know
And
we
what
need to
about
know what the totals
Taylor?
were, but just to like in general, like
Nope.
they've talked about this already, but for 6 years, no one's even close. You gotta understand, this was the closeout meet for the 83s. It was they said that they made the mistake. They said it themselves. It was we're gonna go to Junior Worlds. We're gonna go to Worlds. We're gonna seal our 83. We're gonna make the 83 legacy there, right? And set up the biggest battle they were anticipating. Battle's not Worlds. It's Sheffield. It's the champions of champions. So yes, you're not supposed to do that, but they objectively like for 6 years, no one did anything enough to make them like, oh, we have to find a way to be even greater.
Okay, wait.
That makes
So
sense?
yeah, that makes. Except though, I agree with you. There's just one thing. There's the Austin Perkins coming up from 74, and then Taylor Atwood in, I believe it was 2022, where he almost out totaled Russ because he
He
missed a bench.
Yeah, he was a like a bench command away from
Like,
outdoing Russ.
there's
Yeah,
no like
so
Russ has earned his status. Joey's earned his status. But if I'm Russ and I see someone like from 74 is almost out totaling me because of a bench, I'd be like, oh hell no, a class under.
he did bench 195 at Worlds. He did do that before. Another thing too, there were just some training habits that got out of
Chick-fil-A,
whack. Huh?
Chick-fil-A.
Oh no, training habits.
I know.
Chick-fil-A Chick-fil-A should not be the reason why you lose. Like that's crazy. Like um I'll put this light on real quick. Just know that
He ate too
that's
much.
another that's what I learned from Joe and Russ's expense of their loss was you could be at the top for so long and you can get caught if you kind of rest on certain laurels in training. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to put no one out there. It is a human thing to happen, right? Like no one's showing me a challenge. No one's close. For 6 years, I'm out here just dominating respectfully. To his fault, he started to train a particular way. And there's the more details to it. Just know that I'm not gonna put no one out there like that. I'm not gonna throw no one under the bus.
Throw him under the bus,
Please,
bro.
I'm not doing that because it's all innocent things. It's just human nature. It's not like, well, why didn't Joey flex? Why wasn't he on top of him more? It's not even nothing of that extent. It's just more so of like there's trust. There's trust in your athlete. So like the other day, I asked Gibby, "Are you good on your body weight? Are you sure you're good on your body weight?" Like there's a thing in a relationship that I have with you guys where like I will give you trust as well. I will give you trust. Right? I'll give you the opportunity to maintain the trust. And Gibby was like, "I promise you, I'm good. I'm good, coach. I'm good. I'm good." The lack of experience, creatine prior to the meet. Body weight really went up. I asked him what his body weight was. He was 104, and he just didn't keep track of his details. And then his body weight was 108. And then he said because his body was already heavy, he ended up changing it. I think like he had his class. He said he had his class at 120 just in case. But I told him like if you were 120 and you tried to weigh in at 105, they would not have let you compete because you have to weigh over 105. But he there's just a bunch of things that the whole point of me saying is that I gave him trust. He didn't get it done. He didn't miss weight because he competed heavier. But my whole thing is like there's times as a coach where you will give your athlete the flexibility. Like Asante, when we were at USAPL Nationals Memphis, I was like, it was a very close battle. He's trying to get the junior national title with the guy who's competing after him, and like that 2.5 keys really matters. And I'm like, 633 is guaranteed. Are you sure you have 639? And he looked me in the eyes and he goes, I'm gonna pull it, coach. And when he told me, like, it was a feeling of like, all right, like I trust him. Like that it wasn't like it was just like I got this. And it was like one of the craziest freaking grinds to this day I've ever seen in my career. It's a very like so there's two examples of like when I trust an athlete and it worked, and I trust the athlete and it didn't work. Now, for the one that it didn't work, it doesn't mean that like I'm a shitty coach or oh you should have not even gave him the trust. You should have just took it out of his hands and made sure. Oh no, I like it was a local meet and we could have that expense, but like I'm just saying the two contrasts just to say that with Joe and Russ, I gave him trust and it didn't work. And that's okay. It costed them something, but at the same time, like you live and die with things. But you're better off for it now. You're
Yeah.
definitely better off for it now. And as a side note, I want people to know this. It is a lot easier to just dodge these battles and just say, "Okay, I'm going up." After you lost, and take the easy way out. You guys gotta understand that Russ put up 932.5 in training sloppily, but he put up 932.5 in training a whole summer ago, over a year ago. 932.5. We have never seen that total naturally at 93. We know what's going to happen when he goes there. It's a lot harder and it takes a lot more honor and a lot more courage. And you have a lot more at risk to say, I just lost. I just got my face socked. And all these 83s are coming up now. It's a lot harder to stay here like a man and go head up with everybody and stay in this battle and work for that third world title. It's a lot harder. And also the type of mentality that we have in a team and what we like to teach is like if you lost, you go back and you go get that win back. So it's up to him now, like for the sake of his legacy, go see Jurgens. And on top of that, now you got Ade. And on top of all that, us has to beat all of them and he has to make sure he totals enough so that Delaney or Ornstein doesn't out total him.
Is
But
he gonna is
that's a
he gonna
side
do
note.
is he gonna do nationals or no?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Probably
know.
So,
depends
well,
on Sheffy, huh?
I wouldn't say that he won't do it, but I don't think it's a good idea. Like for someone that's in the class for 8 years, you're about to be 30. A lot of wear and tear on your body in that class. You need more food and recovery. You guys gotta understand the Sheffield meat, that is the meat that you go all out. That
yeah,
is the
yeah,
meat that you go all out. You go all out and then you have a quick 10-week turnaround. Delaney and Bornstein are certain and all the other 83s are certainly at an advantage in April EA Nats.
Yeah.
yeah,
And the 83s that will be competing, the American 83 us will be competing at what's it called? Because they have 10 weeks to be like, okay, what did he do? And just in case Russ does do something that everyone's like, he's not doing it, have at least 10 weeks to be like, okay, we got to adjust something in the program. We got to really put fire on our butt now because he just did this. And so we got to change. They have 10 more weeks to plan. So it's an advantage. So
yeah. Well,
I don't think it's a good idea I don't think it's a good idea, but I wouldn't put it past them. Ultimately, it comes down to Joe and Russ.
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, we can get into the 83s kind of. I think we can, we should probably move on from the whole style
Segue into
coaching
it.
thing. We've only talked about that the whole time. But,
Right.
but I think,
Good way to
I think
segue.
we can talk about the 83s. I think that'd be cool. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
would
just
love that.
What about the
who,
83s?
I mean,
Okay.
what do you want to do? Like, I mean, we could rank how we think 83s are going to place next year. I think that'd be cool.
Ooh,
Or
You want to do that?
like on the like world level or like at nationals,
I think US.
I'm gonna say
U.S.
this now. I
The
think
the PA Nationals.
Or no, what were you saying?
I'm gonna say this now. This is like no diss. You know I'm a flex lover, Chris, but
This is a diss.
like no, it's not a diss. It's just like I genuinely think like I just feel something. Joe Bornstein is gonna take it, dude. If he
He's
stays
what?
healthy, I think Joe Bornstein's gonna win that. I just like if he.
That's not a
I think no, he's
disrespectful nor
taking the world
outlandish
spot from
claim.
Russ. I think he's
Huh?
taking the spot from Russ. That's what I'm saying. He's winning that, taking the spot from Russ. I
Noah,
genuinely.
Noah, give us your top three 83s for next year.
In the
Top three
U.S.
next year.
Yeah, in US. So Sheffield
Okay.
totals and PA Nats totals combined. We'll just go around and say our top threes, and then we'll
Hey,
Can I
discuss
say
it.
something really quick before you give that?
Yeah.
You said that you think he's gonna win PA Nationals and that he's gonna take it. What I say to that is, you should do that. If you don't do that, that's actually really bad. Let me explain why. Because you're genetically super gifted. You have the most availability to the greatest pieces of information to help your training. You have a freaking guy who's working to be a brain surgeon who oversees your training. Okay, genetically gifted. You're super young. You have health and recovery all on your time frame. You've been in the 83 class for a year. You were
Not even
74 last year. Huh?
not even a year.
not even a year.
Not even a
He,
year. Not
yeah,
even a year. And you have a 10-month gap window to take a look at what your arguably one of your biggest competitions puts up. You get 10 weeks planned for that. You have everything in your advantage, and you're going to be competing at home. You have
yeah.
everything in your favor to get
If he
ready
takes it
and
for
win.
Russ.
So if he wins, it's not like you're saying like I think pigs are gonna fly. He should win. He should win.
So
Yeah.
you think
It's the
Joe
lowest
should
hanging
be?
fruit thing to say.
So you're. Let me get this straight. You're saying Joe's gonna beat Russ. That's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying, I don't know who's gonna win. I'm not, bro. Delaney's training is looking amazing.
Yeah, but dude,
Dude,
he's over
Delaney just
being
did four.
dancing like
Huh?
bro.
Okay,
You say?
we should do ranking.
Let's get into it.
Give ranking first. We'll discuss after. We can
All
debate a
right.
ranking
Okay,
after.
So
okay.
okay, number three. I think I'm gonna put Taylor there. I think Taylor
Ooh,
actually is coming up, and I
Okay,
think
actually,
he's
hold
gonna
on.
be.
Should we each say like number three, or should we each do full ranking?
A full ranking. Well, why not?
Okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
Just
So
give your top three, right?
Yeah.
yeah. So I got Taylor Atwood at number three. I think if he stays healthy, he's taking that spot and maybe number two
ooh.
potentially.
Okay.
Russ is number two, and Joe Bornstein number one for me. I think
Okay.
Joe
You don't think Delaney's top three?
mm, he's flirting with Taylor.
I'm trying to figure out how the hell does Delaney always get the short end of the stick? Like he's putting up
Wait,
crazy numbers.
Taylor's flirting with Delaney. It's the other way around.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
but dude,
how?
Taylor, I Taylor, I think he's really just gonna come back hard this year.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you can
I
never
could see
count him
it.
out, honestly. I see where
Delaney,
you're coming from, for sure.
Delaney, like, yeah, for sure he's up there. Like, it's like no question. If he takes number three or two, I wouldn't be surprised either. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Delaney,
Everyone's so
he's the
close.
most
It's hard.
underrated 83. He's the
Yeah.
most underrated 83. But I think Joe Bornstein number one is like he totaled 865 in July, his first meet. He hits like he is sinking his squats like so depth isn't even a problem. He lifts the comp standard and he just repped 833 kilos.
Yep.
Like that's
Oh,
crazy.
I thought you said 833 deadlift. I was like, what?
You know, like
Oh, no.
he
I
doubled
was
he
like,
doubled
what?
20 on
What
squat.
was this?
he doubled 447 and he tripled 760. Like that's absurd.
It was
Yeah.
easy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how fat he is right now, but I don't know. Meaning I don't know his body weight. Obviously, he's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
fat.
Yeah.
Like he's buff as shit. But yeah,
Yeah. Asante, you want to do your ranking next?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna start from the top. I'm gonna start with number one. Um, honestly, I might have to agree with Noah that I would say like Joe Bornstein is probably the favorite to come out of the U.S. Kind of what Coach said. Um, he just has like every single advantage in his favor.
Yeah.
He's got the health. He's got the youth. He has the extra time to prepare. He's like fresh in this weight class. He's got plenty of room to to grow. And plus, he's already like strong as fuck as it's like as we are right now. Like he's
yeah.
got the biggest total in the 83s already, and he's
Yeah.
only going to get stronger on top of that. So it's like it's kind of hard to pick anyone other than Joe to come
Yeah,
out on
he's a
top.
for sure.
And then number two, I'm gonna say Russ. I think at Sheffield, I would project him around like a 870 to 885 ish total, maybe. I don't think anyone's gonna break 900, honestly, but I think they'll get very close. And then number three, I'm gonna have to say Delaney.
Yeah.
And like the only reason I say Delaney is number three is because of that kind of his inconsistency on the deadlift historically. I like it. Like when it like comes down to the end of the meet and it's like time to like pull for that total. I don't know if I trust Delaney to
Yeah.
finish the job on that third attempt and seal the deal. So I'd have to go Joe, Russ, Delaney, top three Americans.
Okay. I speaking of inconsistency, I got Bornstein first as well. I got I got Nori second, and I
What
got
the
Russ
fuck?
third.
Whoa!
I got Nori
What
second.
the fuck?
I think Nori is getting second at nationals, and I think he'll beat Russ's total at
Wait,
Sheffield.
are you being dead ass?
That's
I'm
crazy.
100% being serious.
I
I'm
think you're
being
I think
serious.
you're just trying to be controversial, bro. I think you just want
This
to be
is
different.
it's
The
for
way
the
the way
lore.
that Noah asked, he was like, "Are you being dead ass?"
Oh, wait, dude, Austin, you know I love Nori. Like
Yeah, I know
I
you
love
do.
Nori
Yeah,
too, bro.
yeah.
I don't know if
but
he's up there though.
you think okay, what do you think Russ is totaling at Sheffield? And like it's honestly it's no less than 865. Like I think that's like bare minimum. 865 to 870.
Yeah,
Yeah. I can
do you
see.
think Nori is gonna PR his total by
Yeah.
like 70 plus kilos?
I think Nori's gonna be around 870. Yeah.
Get the
Damn,
fuck
bro.
out of here.
Look at
I hope he does. That'd be fire. I love Nori. But like damn, I
let me do some numbers. Let me do some numbers.
Yeah,
oh, no.
what would a 870 total look like for Nori realistically?
If
If he
Nori squatted if Nori benched 496,
That's doable.
yep. If he
yeah, but we
pulled
dude, he's not proven that. Like
what's that, Noah?
he's not proven that. Like, bro, he every time Nats comes around, bro, he gets a four red bench. He's like, I did it on a TSS. I'll do it on the platform, and he might get cucked over by refs on the platform, but like he's got to prove it to me.
No,
So
I
what would
agree,
he
but
need? So what would he
if
need
he
to
did
hit 865
Nori,
870.
if for
or
Nori would need a
870?
490 if Nori pull or if Nori benched 496, if he squatted even only 661, he'd have to
Oh wait,
pull he'd have to pull 771 for 875.
you
That's
know
not
what? That
happening.
might not. That's
I could
not.
see I think all of those are realistic.
You know what, Austin? I'm gonna have to. He's not. That's not that crazy anymore. Because
I
I just.
don't think that's
'Cause
that's
What?
that crazy for Nori.
Dude, his squat is a lot more consistent now. If he can squat the
Everything is more
yellow,
consistent.
if he squats the yellow to depth, which he doesn't do, he's just so inconsistent. That's the only thing.
I
He
mean, like
could do it.
like Nori has the strength to be up there with Russ, but it's just like the
Inconsistency.
he just doesn't hit lifts.
he just actually has to prove it. But I feel like
Yeah,
especially bench has been the biggest thing,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
100%.
feel
Just
like
like if you
with these PA rules, I feel like he's had to adapt to it, and I think his bench is way more consistent now under these rules.
so who's your third? Who's your third?
Oh, third eye Russ.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah, Bornstein, Nori, Russ.
So
that's crazy.
I
We'll
believe
keep track of these. We'll remember these.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it
yeah.
on here, bro.
Let's go.
I
Let's
believe
go.
that at PA Nationals, the 93s need to make sure that they don't get out totaled by the 83s.
Facts.
I
Yeah.
believe there's at least 2 lifters that can hit 900 plus.
Who are they?
Bornstein and Delaney.
No Ruts?
Let
No
me
Ruts?
let me explain
No, this
why.
is at Nats, bro.
Oh, at
At
Nats.
Nats,
Okay.
yeah, at Nats.
This is at Nats. Let me explain why. We just saw what Bornstein did, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
833 on some chill shit for reps.
I have Bornstein on squat. I have him around 302 to 305. Whenever I say a number that needs a decimal and a 5, like if I say 302, it means 302.5. Just the way that
Mhm.
I talk. You guys know how I talk. I say those
Yeah,
numbers for short. I think he's got 302.5, 305.
okay.
I believe that he'll have something within the range of a 220 bench.
Yeah.
And
That's disgusting.
I believe he'll pull 850, something in that
850?
range.
What's that
Yeah.
in kilos?
So if you add it up, um,
385.5
and
or
then let's
three.
just go low end squat. I think Bornstein, if Bornstein has a super meet, I think he can do something like 907.
Oh,
I think he can do something like 907.
That's stupid.
I believe, I believe that the total to beat. I know this is like big body, you're out of your mind, you're crazy. But you gotta understand, Delaney just did 408 for 7 on bench as an 83. Just did 408 for 7.
like
He squatted did he do like 330? Or no, 325, 330? Did
It was it was
325, I think.
it was 330, I believe.
Yeah, 325 or 330. And then he almost locked out 345.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no. He almost locked out 355. It was 782.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
saw the clip on YouTube.
it was the yellow and the collar. He almost locked out. So let's say he doesn't get stronger and he actually hits those lifts. Right?
wait, what's his body weight at though?
He's light. He's close to
All
cutting. He's in
right.
shape. He's in shape. Um, let's say he goes 330 plus 220 plus 355. That's 905. If he actually just cleans up those lifts, gets a little stronger so he can execute them, that's 905. But I think it's gonna be the race to like who can hit 915. I think 915, if you hit 915 at nationals, you hit 915 at nationals. If you do better than 915, bro, you got it. Got it. I tried everything I could. I out totaled
Yeah.
the 93s. I loaded 915. And you did 915.5. Congrats at Worlds. Represent the country well. Wish you the best.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But with all that being said, the ranking,
There we go.
we're asking a lot for these 83s to hit 915 to 900 at Sheffield. You're asking a lot. You know, everyone knows my relationship Russ and Delaney, those are my brothers. That's my team. Because of how the scenario is fit, what do I actually believe is going to happen?
You could even go with just probability, like because
I
you
I
believe that.
I believe it's really close. Statistically, if I'm smart, um, it's probably going to be Ornstein at first,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna say Delaney at first.
Whoa.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say I'm gonna say Delaney at first, Ornstein at second by like just fucking like damn that was close. Something in that relation. It's gonna be. I think the battle between Delaney and Bornstein is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to blow out of our minds something we've never seen before in powerlifting. Um, and you still got the Chris Perez's, the Sean Noriegas, the Angelo Fortinos, and all the other Americans from the 83s that are going to be right there too, right? Like
Mhm.
those guys are going to be able to still survey the playing field and just hope that Delaney and Bornstein screw up so they can slide in, right? That's no secret here, right? You're asking a lot for Russ, Adeo Masakin, and Jurgens out, dude. If anyone hits 900 as an 83, Tim Madigatti, if they hit 900 at Sheffield, that's got to be up there with some of the greatest performances ever in powerlifting.
Yeah, for
83
sure.
total, 900 at Sheffield, crazy. I think Russ is at a disadvantage. I will say this though, I do believe that people can make mistakes and that after a 10-week gap, that Russ could potentially, I think it's like a 30 to 25% chance that Russ posts a total or Ade posts a total and holds on to it as PA Nats. And it could be that all these 83s at PA Nats are slugging, duking it out. And somewhat all of them make mistakes. And then maybe they break like 895, 890, 97, something like that. But I think that you're not winning PA Nationals if you don't total 900. That's I think for sure. And I
Oh,
think 915 seals the deal. So my final will be uh Delaney, Ornstein, Russ.
I got a quick question for you, Coach.
Yeah.
So if you think the 83s are going to be like trending towards 900 to 915, what the fuck are the 93s doing?
Nothing.
What the fuck are they doing?
Exactly. 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 Same thing that people are saying for Perkins
Uh-huh.
towards Russ in the 83s. When I see these comments, I'm like, why are the 93s not with the sense of urgency? Because the 83s are talking about beating the 93 world record now. The 93s, you
Yep.
better light a fire under your butt because don't let a young 22-year-old Bornstein or Delaney or somebody post up 915 at nationals. If that happens, bro, that's gonna be
I think
insane.
right now, no one really not. I don't think people really care about the 93s right now. I'm gonna be honest. I think they're like kind of like faded away because of how strong the 83s are. Like a couple
They're
of years
kind of like the
ago,
66s.
yeah, exactly. Like a couple of years ago, like a lot of people around me, they're kind of just talking like they're not that interested in the 83s because Russ is the only one fucking winning. No one's
Yeah.
giving him a
Yeah.
challenge. But now 83s are huge. 93s like is that one weight class for me, and 59s, but that's another day. But 59s and 93s are just like no one really pays attention to. Like no one really cared too much about Gavin Aiden's 900. Like
No, I'm not gonna lie, I love you, brother. That's a little crazy to say that about the
not,
93s.
Yeah, I
bro.
think people
How
are
would
intrigued by the battle, but like the 93s don't have like their outlier yet.
bro? Who's in the
Agreed.
90? Like who talks about 93s like around
Every,
you?
everybody.
Dude, I hear people talk about 105s, 83s, 74s because of perk. 74s because of perk, right? And the 120s, like I don't I don't hear anyone talk about 93s because it's like 83s are about to do what the 93s do.
Yeah,
That's
I
why.
mean, I guess
It's
that's
not a
more of
switch.
like a recent thing, I guess.
It's like 83s are getting so strong. Like if they don't get stronger, like you know what I mean?
So with the 93s, you have Emil Krastev, you have Gustav Hedlund, you've got Avin, Petrie, Keiko. You
Oh, but
have
Jordan McKinley coming in.
Gordon McKinley.
Yep, he put up like 870, right?
Gordon McKinley, long term,
just kidding.
I could see him doing. I could see him doing something crazy. If Demetrius is
Hmm.
also someone that he could have a revamp and explode as well. I think he's
Yeah,
super lean. He's really, really lean. Um, he's another
I
800
like
pullering
it.
90, something like that, right? What other 93s are there? There's a lot of 93s. Um, 93s are incredibly competitive, man. They're incredibly competitive.
yeah.
Oh, Carlos
It's
Peterson. What the
yeah,
heck happened to Carlos?
yeah. I don't see him post no more. I wonder what he's doing.
He got hurt in his last meet, right? In Worlds. I think he's been trying to
Nope,
recover
but
from that.
he did like he did his country's nationals though
Strongman
afterwards.
stuff
Oh,
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder what he's
man.
up to.
Bless you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Um, 93s are very stacked. I
Yeah,
don't think that like the 93s are so stacked, and the 83s now are just like it's genuinely ridiculous. It's
yeah.
genuinely ridiculous.
With the 93s, it's just like the battle's always intriguing because like everyone is like so closely packed together on total, but like the
Yeah.
totals themselves aren't that impressive anymore when you like look at the 74s and the 83s now compared to them. And I
No,
think
it's
that's where like the loss of interest comes in
it's
recently.
like what we were talking about with the 59s almost, where they
Yeah.
don't have
yeah,
like they're not having the insane performances right now. They need the weight class battle, and that's what's holding the
yep,
93s up is everyone's so close.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our rankings.
Yeah. Noah,
That was
you got them all down?
Oh, brother, I've been taking notes this whole time.
Nori
that
competes
was
in 5 weeks too, so we'll
oh
actually get
really?
a
He's
decent
5 weeks
gauge
out.
of. Yeah, Nori's 5 weeks out, and he's actually like he's not just doing like a little PA qualifying meet. He's actually like going all out and actually competing. So
Okay,
we'll
What
actually get
meet?
a.
What meet is he doing?
I have no clue. I'm not sure, but it'll be cool because that'll actually give us a decent gauge of where he'll
Oh,
be at.
it's the game day meet.
Oh yeah, I think it is
Oh, maybe.
actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
if
it is.
if he does not do like at least like I don't know like 8:30, 8:40 at this meet, I'm not worried about him.
I think he has
I
to do at
think
least
he's
eight
if he
fifty.
has,
Respectfully,
He's got to do at
if
least
he
eight
doesn't get
fifty.
some lift, that's what he might get.
not even 8:50, like 8:40. Like prove that you're up there with like Angelo and Chris Perez first.
Yeah, I don't know. If he
Damn.
doesn't do 850, I don't. He's not getting second as my ranking. He needs minimum 850
Minimum
in my
8:50 to
opinion.
get.
Yeah.
I would have to agree, but I got to see it
I got to
first. I
see
got
the
to see it to believe
850,
it.
but I think he's capable of it too. So
He just has to hit lifts, bro. It literally just
yeah,
comes down to that.
yeah, yeah. Literally,
What
yeah.
else? What we got next?
um, we could. Do we want to keep going off of the list for what we are going to do for this podcast, or do we want to? I don't know if there's any good hot takes that we discussed that Coach would have a different opinion on. Do you remember?
The
Wait, so
powerlifting goat.
Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah. Should we talk
Yep.
about
oh yeah,
that? The
But
go to
yeah,
powerlifting? I mean, all three of us agree. It's hack, undeniably, I think. At least me and
yeah.
Noah think it's undeniable. I think Asante, you said you were questioning, right?
I'm split between two people. Yeah,
What do you
But you say
split
hack is
between?
still the favorite.
it's between Hack and Jesus.
Bro.
Okay,
Don't be
Noah, why
careful.
do you say bruh? Explain.
Bro, why do you not fuck with Jesus?
Bro, you know, I got a lot of stuff, but um, I think John Hack
It's
is
hack.
just
It's
like
so easy in my
it's just
opinion.
objectively. That's just like unless you're from Flex, that's I only hear John Hack, and then there's like some people from Flex that I hear they say Jesus, but I don't know if like they actually believe that or if
I
like
believe
I don't
it.
know.
Fuck you.
Personally, I could not put Jesus as a goat of powerlifting over Hack because I still don't have Jesus as the goat of his weight class. I still have Ray Williams over Jesus all time.
But that's only a byproduct because of time.
Yeah,
Elaborate.
for sure. But I mean,
Yeah, for now.
like if Jesus retired right now, in 5 years' time, I would look back and still say Ray Williams is the best in the weight
Right,
class.
that's because of time, but that's because of time. But if you
And we'll tell.
where Jesus is at in the class, right, and just in powerlifting, if you compare where Jesus is at and just how long has Jesus been lifting? Like what, 4 or 5 years?
Something like that. Not that long.
So,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
so compare Ray Williams' first 4 or 5 years to Jesus's 4 or 5 years. Objectively, first of all, Ray Williams is one of the goats, and at one point was looked at as you could make an argument as he was a goat. He is the man that paved the way for us. There's massive respect to Ray Williams. Massive. Got nothing bad to say about Ray Williams. Um,
He's my goat of IPF, Ray Williams.
objectively, in their first 4 to 5 years, Jesus has done more.
100%.
He's out totaled him on Sheffield and won it with the 9 for 9 day. And in that the first 4 years, they're the same on world titles, right?
Yes.
So, so with that being said, it's either he didn't win the first and then he won the next consecutive 4 years, or Jesus won his. I think Jesus won every time that he competed. He won. So with that being said, Jesus has objectively done more in 4 to 5 years than his Ray Williams' first 4 to 5 years. And if you, because of time, we just need to see if Jesus continues that, he's gonna have such a decorated resume. If if Jesus squats 1100 at Sheffield, that takes objectively, he has the new world record holder, and he also beats the tested, equipped world record, right? Um, I believe. I don't know if anyone's ever squatted 1100. I could be wrong.
Not raw.
But the
Raise up
1100 squat and just the
180.
600 bench, and if Jesus pulls anything between 927 and 948, that will be the greatest total we have ever seen by a human being, and he did it naturally. And one of the things that really hurts this argument for John Hack is that you have to understand, first of all, is John Hack the top three best powerlifters of all time? For me, 100%. Because he's got the IPF title, he's got the untested records. The dots point, right, is insane. He's up there with all the stats and all that stuff, right? This is what we were talking about last time. This is a good conversation. This is probably going to open up some opinions here. We are comparing someone who is untested now to someone who is fully natural. Okay? And with that being said, it's so hard to comprehend that people that have done steroids and PEDs get to a certain level have never even came close objectively to the things that Jesus has done, and even the things that John Hack has done as a natural, right? And they can't even comprehend that you could even possibly squat 1100 pounds as a natural athlete. And so the fact that people can't believe that he's natural, that he's flirting to do it, it's such an outlandish set of numbers to potentially hit as a natural. We've never seen a total like that ever done before. No human being has totaled 1,200. 1,200 kilos. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine.
I,
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
you're doing that naturally. So we have to. My whole argument here, no bias. Not on flex. I'm some random dude who lives in the top of Maine. My job is, I just hate on people on the internet, and I hate in powerlifting, right? I think about someone, you're telling me someone could potentially total 1,200 kg. If he does do 1,200 plus in a belt, singlet, knee sleeves, and wrist wraps all on the same day. I think that if Jesus does that for me, Jesus is the best powerlifter of all time ever. And if he does that 9 for 9, for me, he's got it. The
Okay.
execution,
Well.
the heaviest total, and he did it tested. Like, I don't even know. Because you got to understand, we're comparing coefficient points and all these accolades. But, like, we're talking about someone that's so strong naturally that no one's even close.
Yeah.
You also got to put in this context, my last thing I'll say. You have a super heavyweight that does not benefit through coefficient, that is so strong that his coefficient is still up there with guys way lighter than him.
Yeah.
That is incredible
Yeah.
alone.
Okay. First.
You're that strong as a big heavy guy. Your coefficient is still up there with the way lighter guys. Have better ratio, pound to total ratio, right? Like that. There's so many things that I could add to this argument, and that's just my take. That's my take.
I got
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
So so as you guys know, I'm split. Like for me it's like Jesus 1A, John Hack 1B. Um and basically it's just cuz like I can like see like both arguments. Like for Hack, I would say you have to put him like in that like discussion at least, because if you think about like all the things that were like available to him during his time in the IPF or whatever. Um there's not a single like major event that he hasn't won. You know what I mean? In the sport of
Yeah.
powerlifting, he's got multiple USAPL national titles. He won worlds as a junior. His junior world record total that he set back in 2016 still stands today in 2024. Granted, it's a junior record, but like still, you got to put some
Yeah.
weight on that.
Yeah.
And then he went over to the untested, and then dominated there. Broke multiple like all time world records in like 3 different weight classes or something stupid like that. So
Yeah.
it's just like when you look at like not just tested, right? Just the whole sport of powerlifting as a whole. John Hack has like the most complete resume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
only thing he's missing is like a Sheffield title. That's the only thing he doesn't have.
And
But
it
that's just
wasn't
because it wasn't.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't available to him at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
same thing with Russ though. Russ could, like in 2020, he could have, like, who knows what he would have done at Sheffield, but
Yeah,
he just didn't have that opportunity.
exactly.
Right.
So
I
that's
think.
that's like
Okay.
that's my argument for Hack. And then
I.
Jesus, it's just like you can't argue with like he's the strongest person. Period. Tested, untested, it doesn't matter. He's just the strongest. You
Yeah.
have like if that doesn't make you the goat, then what else does he need to do? Like
He's just under the tested equipped total by like it's like a couple pounds. That's
yeah,
the only thing left he's got to knock off.
yeah, like just that alone puts him next to Hack for me.
Okay.
Like
But
it
I
does it
think.
doesn't matter if he has less world titles than Ray. He's got 4. I mean,
Out of curiosity,
we call Taylor Atwood the goat, and he only has what 3 world titles.
I don't call Taylor the goat.
Okay, okay. Well, it's it's
But okay,
I say
to go against what coach said, you
okay.
cannot compare what Hack has already done to stuff that Jesus is about to do. Like the
That
GOAT
that is true.
conversation is what has already been done. Like you're talking
Hmm.
about if
sure.
Jesus squats 1100, if he totals 1200, you're not talking about like what if Hack totals this, squats this, deadlifts this. Like you can't compare the past to something that's about to happen. If Jesus does all that stuff, then I'd like definitely discuss and be more open to Jesus being the GOAT. But I'm looking at purely what has Jesus done right now and what has Hack done right now, and Hack to me is completely clear still.
So do you have a Sheffield 9 for 9, 1153 kg total, arguably the greatest performance. A lot of people say it is the greatest performance of all time. You have that not as valuable on top of, to bolster that, 4 consecutive world titles, right? You have those things like not as valuable as like the thing that's just like also like what standards are harder? Are the standards harder on the IPF stage or some of the meets that Hack has competed at? This is not to discredit the USAPL, WRPF, not to discredit Hack at all. Hack is my guy. Um, but what I'm saying is like there are so many lifts that you've seen happen at the IPF that we couldn't understand. Like it was clean. It was the lifts were clean. People try to find any inkling of like, oh, it was a blue card, it was a red card, yellow card. But if you just keep replaying the film, you're like, I cannot see anything that they're saying. And the standard that you're held to at the IPF level and lifting, in my opinion, by far, I've never seen anything harder. And there's a lot of people at the meets that Hack has done. They're doing like 3/4 squats. They're not hitting depth. They're doing parallel squats. They're like jerking they're using a noodle bar and it's harder because it's got a lot more whip. I understand it's harder to lock a deadlift out and they're holding a lot of weight still, but the lifts are not always clean. And you're also talking about have advantages, how you can bench, heels off the thing, off the floor. There's all those little nuisances like, oh, you can't say that. Well, then why is it that they allow you to do it and they don't allow you to do it at the IPF? Those are still little things that go a long way. And in the sport, all those little things they add up and they are, to me, very important. Like what can our athletes in the IPF bench if they have their toes on the floor and the heels are off? You know what I'm saying? What can our athletes spot if they don't have to always hit depth or if it's super close but not objectively like undeniable depth? What can we squat and have passable, right? We could inflate the numbers a little bit more. So and then the with all the other discrepancies with deadlift, right? So all those things to say, like I'm not taking away, but I'm also just putting out factors that are super important. Like there's certain things that you have. You're on sauce. You're on PEDs. The rules are shifted in such a place where you can lift even more. Plus you already have the help of all the other things, right? Like I said, PEDs, and then on top of
24
that,
hour weigh-in as well.
the far away in. That's another thing that helps you. And on top of all of that, um, running out of a monolift, right? So it's like there's just like all these things and you get a lot of extra help from that side, let alone from you're talking about like you make a good point when you're talking about what he hasn't done yet. If I don't even talk about what he hasn't done yet, could do but hasn't done yet, and I just say what he has done versus what objectively Hack has done, for me, you're talking about the GOAT powerlifters of all time. I like again, I can't convince you of who you believe is. This is just what we believe, right? I believe that Jesus, because of things are much harder, the level of difficulty. John Hack definitely has. If, like I said, if John Hack, with all those extra things that he has to help, if he does, what did we say the coefficient 670,
He
90s?
did
No,
them
you said yeah, no,
65.
you said 700. If he does 700,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
if he does 700 as a coefficient dots points, he's like I gotta think a lot for a long time because
I
like
got to
he's
see
very
what
close.
that would take, but
Even
no,
on
I
well,
think
sauce,
his,
I feel like if you are on sauce and you got all these little things to help monolith, whatever, right? If you have a dot score of 700, that's like that's better. We've seen what Larry Wheels has done. Larry
Yeah.
Wheels, Larry Wheels took untested to another level. He took it to another level, man. And I think John Hack certainly does that as well. I'm just saying that you have a lot more things to help you, so I'm expecting you to do even more because of that. You're taking the human capabilities to another level. Plus, the rules are tweaked. You don't really have to walk out when you do it out of a monolift, right? Those things matter. Imagine tonnage of 1,000 pounds naturally, and you got to go 1, 2, 3, and then fucking settle. And you see Jesus is like literally, it's hard to settle 1,000 pounds, right? So
Yeah. I mean, John Heck still
mentioning all
walks
those
out even
things,
when he uses a
I got
monolift.
Jesus. I have Jesus, and I have John Hack just under. That's me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's fair.
It,
That's not ridiculous.
Well, really quick, John Hack and Jesus, I love you both. It's just I'm just being objective here. You both are my guys. Love you both.
I hope they both watch this eventually. Okay. Um, but John Hack got 665 dots without his third deadlift, and in training, he's looking 9+.
Well,
Right?
and his second
What
attempt deadlift was just a retake of his opener. So he really only got his
Yeah.
opener deadlift.
Let's say he did pull 9+. He's at 683 dots with just his squat and bench. If he didn't progress those, he's not too far off that 700 dots.
Yeah, he's flirting with the 700 dots for sure.
I do not believe he can't do it. I believe he can do it for sure.
There's
I
nothing
will
he
really
never
can't
just
say
do.
he can't do it.
it really just comes down to what you value, like how much you think the 24-hour weigh-ins help, the bars,
Yeah.
the PEDs. Like, there's no way to actually test it. So it really
I
just comes down to how much you value that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
it's all unquantifiable stuff.
That's why
Wait,
we'll
what do you
never.
mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean you can't test it? What do you mean?
Well, I
We
mean,
can't
we can't
compare
see like
for
how
the
much.
2 hour.
Yeah, how much do PEDs help your dots? Like,
Yeah, plus like
we're never gonna have a number of. We'll never be able to figure out who the true goat is. Like, there's no formula to see like an untested
Yeah.
700 dots equals a 600 raw dots.
yeah, because like everybody responds to these like the differences in the equipment and the PEDs. Everyone responds to those things differently, so it's like hard to really like quantify like how much help you're actually getting.
Truly, it has to be
It's all
separate.
it's
Like, you
all
can't compare tested to untested when it comes to
it's
like
almost
goats.
So,
it's
But
almost like two different sports.
yeah, it
so what
really is.
about
Oh,
what about? Oh yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but like, isn't it also like super simple? Like when you're on PEDs, you recover at a rate that you cannot recover when you're not on PEDs.
well, it
Yeah,
depends on what
Like,
I'm saying not everybody gets like the same boost from PEDs.
like
Like not
what are
everybody's
they?
gonna be a John Hack from taking steroids.
Yeah, you got to have supreme genetics, but the point
Yeah,
is like the reason why you can't compare it is because you recover better than myself, and you can have muscle synthesis at a greater rate than I can produce naturally. So
yeah,
like,
well,
that's
that's what I
so
mean.
much more help.
You can't compare it at face value. Like, you can't compare John Hack's dots to Jesus's dots or totals to totals. You have to figure out how much it actually helps. Like, that's what I mean. Like, if you just look at like John Hack total to Jesus total, obviously it looks like Hack's is way better, but he's on PED, so you have to calculate how much it helps.
Another thing too, really quick, dots is inflated because you're also on PEDs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Oh
Gotta
yeah.
like that's just one thing that came to mind is like it's like, oh no crap, but it's like no, but like, are you doing that dots? Like what is the greatest dots we have naturally?
I think it's
Uh,
Perkins 17 dots.
617? Oh, 617, yeah.
17.
Yeah, 617, something like that.
I
And
think
Jesus
that
only
Perkins.
592.
I think that Perkins. I think that Perkins and Borenstein, like, they have the potential. They have the potential to be one of the best, if not the best of all time, too. But in that discussion, they have a lot of work to do, but they're still like Joe Bornstein is obviously really young, and Perkins is still young enough, and Elliot Sykes is the youngest of all of them, and he's one of those guys where it's like he's super young and he's still got a ways to go, but he's one of those guys that you're like looking at.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think Jack
You're like
Reynolds
he's doing
too,
some
though,
crazy
'cause he's
stuff
a year
already as
younger.
a sub.
yeah. He's like Elliot Sykes is like almost like guaranteed to be like
Nah,
solid in
Yeah,
the
I
open.
would. I don't know if I'd say that yet. You gotta wait. It's
What?
so
nah.
Likely,
early.
say likely, say likely. More replace guaranteed with more likely.
Yeah,
It's
because
just too early.
you never
It's
know.
so
Okay,
young.
like okay.
What's
There's like a 85% chance that by the time Elliot reaches the Open, he's gonna be a beast. Like we can just see it now. He's already there.
Proceeding that everything goes well and nothing happens. Yes,
Yeah.
If
like
he
there's a good
doesn't go off
chance.
to college and like not care about lifting anymore and wants to do some weird shit, if he focuses on lifting, yeah. Like if he's
I
not one of
think
those guys like, oh, I'm gonna do jujitsu. I'm gonna.
They get a
no,
$100 million deal to go pitch for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I, I believe if Elliot wants
Whoa.
to be the best, he can be the best.
I
It's
think
just like,
Elliot.
There's a
yeah,
chance. There's
it's
Wait,
just
wait,
a chance.
what about Nonso?
Ah.
uh,
Dude, he's a teenager who almost pulls 900.
Have you not seen Bob's training? Look at Bob.
Yeah,
Look what he just did.
but
Bob just
yeah, okay,
tripled his
so
best
Bob,
total.
okay,
Yeah.
so the thing
Bob pretty
about
much
we'll
just
talk about
tripled Nonzo's best total and at 108.
yeah, but Nonso is how old?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but
but I
like
I
don't think
don't
19.
it
like
has to do with it.
Bob
Because
is
some
probably
people just
progressing
think
faster than
early.
Nonzo even because of the age right now.
Well,
That is
another thing
crazy.
too is that Bob has to fill into the 120s.
Yeah,
So
he's only
so it's the
108 right
same.
now.
Yeah, he has so much to fill. So it's like when you're bulking, even if you're doing a proper bulk, you should be. Same thing's happening with Asante right now. You should be exploding. You should be exploding. You have allocation of more resources to recovery. You should be exploding. But Nonso, he's tall, he's young, and there's a lot of top end. He's just got to get. He's like, dude, he's only 19. He's only 19. Compare Nonso to Bob. Bob, everything that Bob's doing, it's amazing. When you're talking about, does Bob have the potential? He also has a good resume because Bob, what do I don't even know how to say. There's no way that I can say this. It is embarrassing to be out totaled by a 105 in the 120s at the Worlds. That is like
Coach.
if I'm a coach, right? If I'm like coaching a football game, I'm like, you just let a JV player smack us all over the place in a varsity setting. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? And so, and I told Bob this. I told him I have tremendous respect for that dude. You essentially are the strongest 105 and 120 in the same year. That really helps your resume for sure. But you got like Rondell suffered from politics, and it was not his fault, right? Rondell got the worst end of the stick and wasn't able to go out here and express. Dude, Rondell, what would have happened? He'd be a 4 or 5 time 120 champion. And if he competed this year, Rondell wins, right? Bob
Yeah.
doesn't win that. Rondell wins, right? But because of how things played out, I'm not. This is again none of these. I'm just making objective points. I'm not taking nothing away. It's going to be a little bit harder for Bob because you got Rondells and you got some up and coming 120s. And I'm saying to not look at Nonso, a 19-year. Have we ever seen a night? Bob, I saw Bob makes the point where he goes like, Rondell, when I was this age and when you were doing this and this year, I outdid that. And I'm going to keep trying to outdo all the things that you did when I was at the same marker point annually. I'm going to work to outdo that as I get work up and I build up in my weight class to get close to you and eventually beat your total, right? What I could say for both Rondell and Bob is that none of you have deadlifted 881 at 19 years of age. The upside for Nonso is absolutely insane. He's almost going to squat 800. He almost benches 500. And he almost deadlifts 900. I'm just saying that, like, the up and comers, I just randomly thought of it. I think the up and comers, the people that likely like have a great chance, Bob has a great chance to be one of the best. I think it's harder for him objectively. Rondell, he's older now. He's almost 30. Those guys are closer to 30. It's going to be tough, right? Because you got these new guys like Jordan McKinley's, Elliot Sykes, uh, Joe Borenstein. These guys are like putting up open division numbers as juniors
Got Austin
and
Nikolai.
subs. Huh?
Got Austin Nikolai.
See, I want to say that, but if I say that, I feel like I'm gonna be. I'm gonna say it. I think Austin Nikolai is one of the ones too. I think he can do it, but it's just that I didn't say Austin Nikolai because like I didn't want people to be like, oh, he's so arrogant and you get what I'm saying? Like I didn't
This
want
is
to
your
like
lifter though. What
I
else are you
know,
supposed to
but
say?
That's his point,
I
though.
huh?
That's your point, though, right? It's because it's your lifter. It's like,
Yeah, because of my lifter, like I believe that about all of you. I believe y'all could do amazing things. I think there's no limit for any of you. But if I say that, I feel like people will be like, "Oh, you're so cocky." Like, of course, that's your lifter. You're gonna da da da. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why I didn't say. But yeah, I mean, you guys are all freaking juniors. Like, you guys' upside is insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
some
no,
things
those, I
I
mean,
gotta talk. Go ahead.
Hmm?
no, I mean, those are good points. I guess I don't value age as much in powerlifting, just because
Why is that? Why is that?
we've just seen so many young juniors not pan out to what people expected. I think people have, I think people put way too much emphasis on age. Like, oh, he's doing this at as a junior, he's gonna do like insane things as an open, and it very rarely actually happens.
Do you
Yeah,
think it's because they end up stopping?
Most of the time, I think so, or get just like caught up in like people expect them to be so good that they almost think themselves that they are already, so they don't try as hard like before they were known.
Mm.
yeah. I think I
They
agree with
almost
you.
think like so many people expect you to be good. They almost think I don't have to try hard because everyone thinks I'm going to be good, so I'm going to be. Like they already think it's going to happen 100%, so they don't have to try as hard.
Right.
They
Yeah, they
feel
get content.
entitled to success.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they get content.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
rest on their past laurels. Like, oh, I was already good here. Like I'm gonna get there eventually. But they stop. They lose the same amount of hunger and drive and push.
Yeah. Part like
yeah.
I guess
I'd also say that like some people just like hit their stride in training at different times.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's very true.
Like just because you weren't strong at like 18, 19, doesn't mean that you're not going to be strong like when you're in your late 20s. Like it like look at Jurens, like he's still like making big progress in his mid 30s.
Gustav.
Well,
Yeah, Gustav. Like I don't
Some
know.
people peak like late
Age
30s.
isn't that important.
Yeah, some people
I
peak
think it
late
more so
30s, some
comes down
people peak
to
like
training
late
age.
20s. Yeah, yeah.
because
But
if you even look at like the top like lifters like with thoughts right now, how many of those people were like top prospects to come up? Ashton Ruska and Joe Bornstein, maybe, right? Like Bob Matthews, like 2019, he was still a junior getting second
Rondell,
place at Ron Nats.
Rondell was a beast in the
he's
juniors.
Okay,
a
Yeah.
beast
so
junior.
three people, but like out of like if you take the top 20 list, like there weren't many people like that were rising like a
Most
20
people in
year
the
like
open
there's
came up in the open.
three. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Exactly.
A lot of juniors don't pan out the way people think.
And even Ashton Ruska, like yeah, he has life stuff. He's starting a family in the army, blah blah blah. Like he hit his best dots 2020 at 589.
He was a junior then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was 4 years ago, and he has not broken that. Like yeah, injury comes up too, but I'm just like it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like to this point, Ashton has like peaked as a junior.
Yeah.
If we're just going off dots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because and Joe Bornstein is one dots point before him or under him. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but
All right, do you want to get into the final thing, just the top 5 to end it?
You
top
asking
five
me?
what?
Yeah.
Oh, just is that what Noah Asante, do you
Yeah,
think
let's
we
do it.
should?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So for the podcast, we want to, every time we have a guest, we want to do a top 5 of a different
Mhm,
subject for each person. Um,
mhm.
just we don't want one because it's going to be probably the same answers for a lot of people. So kind of cater to what they do. So obviously, since you are a coach, we want to ask you your list of your top 5 coaches right now. Top 5 powerlifting coaches right now.
Top 5 powerlifting coaches right now.
Yep.
Let me let me type it. So I'm because I want to make sure I'm correct when I say it.
We don't expect it to be perfect. it's kind of on the spot. That's kind of what we want, is just to be a quick on the spot uh, list. So,
You want it to be a quick on the spot.
well, I
Yep.
mean, you can think about it. You don't have to like just blurt out names right now, but I mean,
I don't know. I
it
don't
doesn't have to be
know.
perfect, I guess.
I think that I think that I think E,
Mikey D.
Mike to share.
Oh,
I
Mike
think
T.
that he's somewhere in the he's somewhere between second and fifth. I think that
Noah's about to write
watch
this
this.
down, and
I'm writing it down. Don't worry. But
I think that Mike T's somewhere between second and fifth. Um, I'll say Gary because obviously he's also somewhere in second and fifth because of his longevity and his resume. He's got the objective resume, right? But if I'm objective, right? Like if I'm talking on ESPN, right? And I'm saying objective points, he has said it himself that he gave up on programming and he gave up on those things. He leaves it and delegates it to like the programmers. I gotta believe he has programmed before for Ray and all that, but like you have like so here's the thing, right? Like the coaches that I've named two already, right? Some of them have like a game day resume, but then they don't have like the off season, the back end, like the programming, the guidance, the things of that, like super strong, like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, right? And those that have the programming and all that, they don't have the game day. Like not out there in the field, like literally in the most craziest battles, lifter after lifter, someone new every single year is winning, right? They don't have that, right? And like it says a lot when it's like I think that coaches for the business sense, they're so scared to make a call because if they're wrong, they're scared of the backlash. They're scared of like what will be said and how it could hurt their reputation or whatever, right? For me, I don't think that's right. I think that you need to make the call that you feel is best for the lifter and whatever happens, you gave your genuine effort, right? Um and and you also communicate with your lifter. Like there's very times like when Austin, I talk about the story all the time. When Austin last year we were at Memphis Nationals and we were facing a bomb out. And I'm like, we're going to take this lift again. You're gonna breathe with me, and we're either gonna make it or we're gonna lose. We're gonna get bomb out together or out, and you're probably gonna fire my ass, and that's it.
Hit this squat
And
or lose to Eve.
huh?
Hit this squat or lose to Eve. Those are the options.
for the team title.
Yep.
and and we sucked it up, and pause, no diddy. We mustered up, we chested up, right? We manned up, and we that's crazy, right? That's crazy. I said that. We manned up. We manned up and we hit the third and we're still here today, right? So like those I'll tell you this right now. In that moment, I'm thinking we missed this squat. It's gonna be the most embarrassing shit for me. Like Austin's a lifter. Like he's gonna be fine. And it's not about me, but I'm just saying, like, in my head, I'm like, I'm Austin, I'm telling you right now, I'm like, I'm getting fired. This is gonna destroy my coaching, whatever. I could have thought about what wouldn't be or what couldn't be. I could have thought about that, but my mindset was more set on we're gonna do this. I know he can do this. We're gonna do
Hmm.
like I was focused on like let us communicate on all the things that we need to think about and execute to give us the best chance to hit it, right? And so I say that story to relate it back to when we talk about the GOAT coaches. I
Yep.
have seen them shy away from those super scary moments. I have seen them shy from they either delegate the game calling responsibility to someone else They absolutely could have taken the responsibility and made a way to be on that stage and face the music, but they didn't. So because of that, it takes you out of the equation because you've got to have programming, guidance, navigation. Sometimes you got to be a therapist for lifters. There's human elements. You got to help your lifters out. You got to build them as human beings. You got to make them very, very, very strong. Make sure they're executing on a super, super duper high level. And then there's game day, everything that comes with game day. Like those criteria, I think Mike Teixeira and Gary are there, somewhere between 2 and 5. There's a Swedish coach. I don't have her name, but she's
Mhm.
really, really good. She's really, really good. And no one knows about her.
Hmm.
She does not get. I need to find her name, and the next time if I'm ever on the pod, like I need to say her name. But like she's really good from like guiding athletes. I don't know much about her programming, but like uh the national coach, she like for the open, like she's super good and she's very smart. The Swedish are very good with calls.
Hmm.
Um Another one, I think I would also put up last one who's not number one.
We already know who number one is.
Um
Yeah, I'm gonna put that down now. All right, yeah, we know.
who's the other one? It's hard, man. It's hard to say like who.
So wait, okay.
Here's my
If
question, right? Here's my question I want to ask you guys.
Yep.
Over the past 5 years, let's go 3 years. Over the past 3 years, who has had a new world champion every year?
I have no
well,
Who,
idea.
what coach can you say has the most objective open world titles?
I don't, I don't, I don't think that's a good basis in the last 3 years because a lot of the top lifters were in USAPL like the last 2 years.
But I mean, you're saying right now, so we're being objective.
Yeah,
You're-
so but the strongest lifters in the last 2 years weren't even in
But
worlds because they weren't even in the federation.
but also in the USAPL, they did have that opportunity just right before, just before those 2 years, where they were IPF and they still didn't make it. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, when? Who?
When the USAPL was an IPF affiliate, that was no longer because that was only the case for 2 years. That was only the
Yeah.
case for 2 short, quick years. So even when that wasn't the case, the USAPL was an IPF affiliate. Whoever won nationals at IPF. Like, here's the thing: I know we're from America, but there are a lot of monsters. Like Austin, you saw it. You saw the level of talent at Worlds, at Junior Worlds. Like these are the
Hmm.
new up and coming dudes. There's so many from so many different countries. It's not just us. Um, and we learned that the hard way this year because we said Erica talking about a sweep. That did not happen.
Not even close.
That did not happen. Okay, and so the world. Do you know that the world came? The British alone. The British called other countries. Burns talked about this. He called other people and was like, "We gotta get our shit together. We are not about to let these guys sweep us." Jurgen said that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is objectively, what coaches can we say that has like even 5 world titles? Are they cultivated, grew the athlete, built them up, got them to open world division, pulled the numbers themselves, and then won the title? And you know I haven't said a name yet, right? Because I'm trying not to be biased. Without even saying the name yet, all the other coaches, who can we say has done that 5 times? Just 5.
I can't think of anyone.
I'm not saying 10 times. I'm not saying 15 times. And the other coach I haven't said has more than 15 times. So, and it sucks, right? Because it's like no one ever talks about this. And if you say it, it's like hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. It's like don't ever say that. But it's literally that coach is standing on a mountain alone today, objectively. And it's like I don't want people to look at this and be like, you're so snarky, you're so arrogant, or whatever. I'm talking
Hey,
on
this is a
ESPN.
safe space. This is a safe podcast.
Yeah,
You can say
yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Well,
But no, but I'm asking you guys,
Come on,
is
talk
there
that shit,
anyone
big
that we
body.
can say, is there any coach that has done that 5 times in the open division?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think
either.
anyone even. I don't think anyone would even argue that. Like, yeah, Joey's like I'm gonna say his name. I mean, yeah, Joey, like he's proved himself over and over again. Like that's. But I guess the only reason I was being like I pushed back on it is because when you said the last 3 years, like it's gonna be Joey regardless because like there's no other coach like that I could even think of that had like that brought up new lifters.
All right, let's
But
go
then,
last 10 years. Let's go a decade.
well, then I'm saying like
It's still Joey.
yeah, it's still Joe, but I'm just saying like in the last 3 years, like the best lifters in the USAPL weren't even in that Fed, so that's why I pushed back on it.
No, I have no problem with the pushback. This is a discussion and this is sports talk and this is
Yeah,
powerlifting
yeah,
talk.
I
I have
know.
no, I never, I never, I invite it. I invite it. I'm just saying that it's like, okay, you got Joey Flex's brother on here and da 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 da. But I'm saying, like, I'm asking anyone to tell me, say it's any, like, not even in here, anyone in the powerlifting community, anyone who's even close, who's got, let's start. I wanted to start off with, let's start with 5 championships, open titles, where they took the lifter, they worked with them together, they programmed for them, they built them, and from that standpoint, and it's funny because Russ talks about this. People always try to make that conversation like, "Oh, you're so arrogant." Like as a coach, like the lifter's success is not because of the coach. No, no one on this side did we ever say Sante Noah or Austin Nikolai's success is only because of Coach Big Body, because of Chris. I would never say that. We did everything that we've achieved it literally together. I can't lift. I didn't do the lifting. I didn't put in the hours that you guys did. I didn't eat the food that y'all did. I didn't plan your time or all that stuff, right? It goes hand in hand. But what I'm saying is those things couldn't have happened had the information not been given, guided, and cultivated. And also, those things couldn't have happened had you guys not taken that information, applied it, and practiced it, and put in that work and learned as well. So it's a hand in hand thing. All that to be said, though, none of that happens without us. It's both sides, right? But all I know is that every coach out here has the opportunity to do the same things that everyone else can do. And Joe's the only one that has succeeded at that level today.
Yeah, I don't think you can't really argue that. Joe, I think Joey is the top. Like, there's no argument, honestly.
The
So
greatest powerlifting coach.
He's the goat. He's the goat right now, like as it stands. Like the way you could even go take it a step further with influencing powerlifting and what he's done because like you can have a good coach, but they might not be influencing people. But the amount of people that Joey has influenced through his coaching or his YouTube or whatever it is, like his person, like how he is as a person, I think just has influenced the sport a lot.
For sure.
I
In like
want to
the best
know.
way.
I want to know. I'm curious to know what's your guys' top five.
Hey, wait,
And
you got to
I want
finish
to
yours
say,
first. You didn't finish
Oh,
yet.
Yeah,
wait,
you're still missing one.
yeah,
I know, and you
I
know
got
what?
Gary, Mike
I don't
T.
even know who the fifth one is.
Wait, so
Wait, but
put
you didn't
we
listen. You
got we
said
got
two to
Joey
five,
one.
right?
We got Joey one.
Joey one. You said Mike T 2 to 5. Like, is it 2, 3, 4, or 5?
Is it like a 2 through 5 or like all interchangeable type deal?
Like I need to sit. See, that's the thing, right? I don't want to say exactly who's 2, 3, and 4 because I want to sit. I've never sat down and broke this down. I
Yeah, no,
obviously
that's
are
fine
gonna
though.
know my relative.
We don't need like a real if it's like completely off, that's fine. We just want a quick little like
So you got Joey 1, and then 2 to 5 is interchangeable. So you got Mike T, Gary, and who's the 2 else that's interchangeable?
the
The
Sweden
Sweden
one.
lady. Yeah.
Swedish. I think that Swedish coach. I think she's like very impressive because
Impressive
a lot of
or
Swedish, a
top
lot of,
5?
huh?
I'm saying impressive or like we talking top 5? Like
Well, they have the '93 champ, Gustav Edlin. They have the 105 champ who beat Mikey D by like 2.5 keys, and like Mikey secured first for like a fucking second, and then he came in and he pulled something insane. He PR'd, beat Mikey, and that was a great attempt selection. And that was when I found out about her, and I was like,
mm,
that was good, that was impressive, right? And you're talking about a small little
borderline
country.
lucky. Just kidding.
Talking, talking about a small little country, Sweden and Scandinavia. They do not have the population. We destroy their population by
Yeah,
100 million, right?
yeah,
Or I don't know, what's their population, like 10 million or something like
yeah.
that?
I have no
It's
idea.
that. I don't know.
10.6.
10.6.
Do you really
Yep.
type it right now?
That was fast.
Yep.
Looked it up.
That was
Yep.
quick.
10.6.
It was really quick. Dang, Jamie. But, but
That's like the
the
state of
fifth one,
California.
No,
huh?
dude, that's like a third of state of California.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
no, California. We have 40 million on the consensus, and that's
Yeah,
Dang.
not
I think
even.
there's 10 million people in LA County, I bet.
Oh, it's more than that now. It's too busy
Yeah.
here. But look. We have other American coaches, right? We all know. We're all thinking their names. But my thing is that again, you've got the programming, but where's the game day? At the hardest, most world class, most fucking chaotic, stressful situation possible. Your reputation, that lifter's reputation, everything you have, plus it's stacked with 5 more world killers. When have you done that? When have you done that? Objectively, I'm not disrespecting nobody. When have you done that? I've never seen you yet. And you still go on the platform and work for that? Yes. It hasn't happened yet. And we're asking right now, who's the best? I haven't seen those coaches yet. I've seen the programming, right? See you delegate those attempt numbers to other coaches and have them call those numbers. You gotta put everything together. All I know is Flex is out here in the office, on the meets, on the world stage. He's everywhere doing it every
Yeah.
year for the past decade, right?
Yeah.
That's that. And I'm trying to talk about him as minimally as I can. I really am. I'm trying to
Talk
talk.
your shit. Talk your shit,
Yeah,
gang.
say what say yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Bro,
I'm,
Chris, this is a safe haven. This is safe.
but my thing is maybe one day I'll go crazy with it. But it's it's hard to say in the world what coach is out here that's doing. Who can I say on? I can't even think of a five. I
Yeah,
can't even
that's a
think of
hard
a
question.
five. It's a really hard question because the criteria, you got to be doing all those things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I can think of 3 guys or 2 guys and one woman who have been doing this for a long time. And that's why it's really hard for me to even say a fifth. But and I said all of this, I truly said all of this as objectively as I could because like if you say no to me, oh that's not true, I'm just gonna pull up the statistics, right? But yeah, I mean, what is your? I really, I don't think I have a five yet. I think this is a to be to continued.
No,
I
no,
have four coaches.
we need
That's
one more
fine. That's
name.
okay.
Random name, random name. We need one more random name. Any coach.
Joe Stanek.
Again, I haven't seen him on that stage ever.
You
Right?
you can put yourself at number 5 if you want to. You can
I
do
mean,
whatever
sure,
you
yeah.
want.
I was just throwing a name out there.
I can't I
I
can't be I can't be put there yet because I don't even have one open world title as a coach.
and I
Yeah.
I've I've heard so many. I've never heard a negative thing about Will. So I mean, that might be a good placeholder, low key.
Yeah, yeah, I
Just
could see Will
saying. If
there.
you can't think of anyone, Will's a good placeholder.
The
I
only
haven't
the
heard.
only thing I think I put Will top 5 as soon as he wins an open world title. But as far as like I think Will suffers just because he's too humble. I think he's too humble. He's a he's an incredible coach. And if Will were to get one genetic, like you see what happens when Will gets Ina. Will gets an Ina, see what happens. Right? What happens if Will gets a total specialist?
It's
Will
done.
take that lifter really dangerously far. Will is probably one of the most underrated coaches in the world.
I
He
agree
is
with that for sure.
he is an amazing coach. Will just broke my 3-year deadlift drought. Imagine you work on a lift really hard and you never progress it for 3 years. I've been back with him for 5 months and he just broke it in 5 months. I was broken, my hip was snapped, my back, I was old and fat. We lost weight, we got stronger, and now we're ready to have my best total next week. God
All
willing,
right. So
inshallah.
Will's the placeholder
I
for
think
I
Will
now.
guess,
should
I
be.
guess,
That's fair.
I guess.
Yeah.
Another thing too is that Will has been in the game for like 10 to 12 years. In the game for 10. I think Will worked with TSA like way back in the day. He's been in the game for a while.
Wait,
But
so
sure.
between Matt Gary, Mike T, and the Swedish girl, what's what's a quick ranking?
I mean, I think Matt Gary takes the second because of the resume is objective, right? Like he's got multiple world titles with Ray Williams,
Yeah.
I'd
and
agree. Yeah, I'd
he
agree.
Yeah,
and he
I
and
already
he
put
he
that
and Ray
down.
Williams built that,
Yeah.
right? I think Mike T just recently started getting some great success with Kazminsan,
Yep. Yep.
and okay, first of all, Mike T is the guy who literally introduced RPE to the freaking community,
Yeah.
right? So that you talk about influence as well, like world influence.
Yeah.
Mike T has that big time. I think Matt Gary had a good approach to attempt selection before anyone was even thinking about approach to attempt selection. And then again, respectfully, and then Joe came into the game. Um
And then Swedish.
I want to put Arian like as an honorable mention. I've seen Arian do some good work. I've seen him handle and um coach up some world titles on game day. And I know he's working with the Jamaican lifter 76, who she's like on the rise. She's like super strong. Um I do want to put Arian in there, Arian Kamesi. Uh he's got the world titles over Will. So
We can throw him in
he's
there.
Yeah, you can put
you
him
could
at
throw him
five.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could throw him at 5, yeah.
Okay.
Throw him at 5.
Oh, it's
I think
written
Will just
down.
needs like a world title, but um that's kind of like my fuzzy
Yeah.
top.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, you
I respect it. I
first of all,
respect it.
I want you guys to say yours and just know like I do not care. Like
Okay.
you say whatever you want. I'm not gonna think of you differently. It's all free game. It's all good.
All right.
Okay. Well, well,
Asante,
we'll 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 do it pretty quick. Then I think we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Who wants?
Asante, you want to kick us off?
Um.
I can go if you don't
How
want to
dare
go
you,
ahead.
Asante? No I'm kidding.
No. Okay. Off rip. I'm gonna say Joey probably number one, and then Big Body. I mean, I don't know any other coaches. Like I don't I don't know like what their programming is like or like what they've done. I'm just not knowledgeable enough to really like make like a real top five. So
Okay. So
I'll
who's
just
3,
say,
4, 5?
huh?
Just say some. 3, 4, 5 coach. Like I
Just
know
pick
you know a
random
handful
people.
of coaches.
We just
Random people.
just throw some names out there.
Yeah, you can say
Bro,
random people.
no. Don't help him, bro. He's trying to be all like politically correct. Just say it, bro. Get your hand
Yeah,
in that damn.
honestly, like I
Sante,
am
safe
not
space.
like say what you feel. Yeah, it's totally fine.
That
Cap, cap. You're
Wait,
pissing
what
me
did you
off,
say?
bro.
I didn't hear it. What
Yeah,
was
I
that?
can't hear.
Your mic went out, bro.
Yes, I cannot hear you.
I think your mic went out. Your mic went out, Sante.
So, Sante, we cannot
Yo,
hear
it's
you.
not like someone's like eating.
what happened?
Oh,
Can you
okay,
No,
we
guys
can
hear
no,
hear
me?
you're
you.
back
I
now.
can hear you.
What were you
Okay,
saying?
number one, Joey. Um, number two, Chris. No bias at all. No bias.
Bro,
Uh, number three, Matt Gary. Number four, Arian. And number five, Marcellus. I don't know.
Austin.
I just kind of threw that together. I don't know.
I think
In my order.
current coaches
Fives.
who, if you take everything added together, I think I'd have Joey 1. I think I'd put Marcellus 2. I think I'd have. Mm, I could put Matt Gary 3. Um, um, I'd go probably Mike T 4. Um, and then I gotta put Big Body 5. It's gotta
Hey,
be on the
that's
list.
crazy.
Gotta be on the list.
Hey,
I mean, when I've only had one coach, he's gotta be in my top 5. All right,
It's
Noah.
not ridiculous.
All right. Yeah, Joey's number 1. King Flex. I can say I'm not even on Flex anymore. King Flex, best coach out there. Number 2. Here's the thing. I'm not as educated in this department either. So I would say Will for my top 2. Just because I've never heard a bad thing about like I know people personally just coach Prime, they love him. Tell me how smart he is. Anyways, Will number 3. Um, shit, I don't know nothing about Matt Gary. I ain't gonna lie. I had to look him up. Uh, it ain't
Easy.
Joe Stanek. Hey, did I'm gonna put Marcellus 3 because I honestly don't know who, and then Mike T 4 and 5 Big Body because Big Body you're 3, bro. First coach, and then I'm moving Mike T to 3 and Marcellus 4. That's my list. So Joey, Will, Big Body, Mike T, Marcellus.
Okay.
All right.
I just don't know the coaches as much as well as like Chris would because he's been hearing about the game for
I think all of
like
us
what
don't know.
7 years.
we,
It's
we
like
should we should maybe next time, whenever it is, if there's ever next time, we should revisit the top 5. Like if we do this again, like obviously next year is like 2 months away from now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we do this again, we should like revisit, or maybe like after Worlds or something, or maybe we could do one after Sheffield and maybe after Worlds and just be like, all right, where are
For sure.
things at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
People are gonna hear these top fives from me and Noah and think like, what
what?
the fuck are these guys talking about? I
this
just
was this
threw
was
some names
honestly
up there.
this was really fun. This was
Yeah.
fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was fun. This was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I think this was better than part one.
Yeah, oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is like
I'm fucking. I don't. Who wants? I don't want to hear about myself. I don't want to hear about
this is
my upbringing.
this is like the juicy part of the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. For sure.
All right, Asante, close us out.
Oh, damn, I just lost the cat. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 4 of the Podium. If you guys made it this far, again, thank you very much. We appreciate everyone that's watching, all 5 of you guys out there. I thought that's all I
Thank
got for you.
you.
Peace.
Subscribe and like.